Sara's Weeknight Meals is made possible by USA Rice, Sunsweet, Hodgson Mill, and the generous support of...
Cooking is the first kind of love you know. It was starting when I was a child, with my grandmother doing fresh pasta, and now I transmit it to all the guests. It's something made especially for them.
Oceana Cruises, proud sponsor of Sara's Weeknight Meals.
Today on Sara's Weeknight Meals, the explosion of spices and flavors that are Middle Eastern cuisine. The big secret? Many of the recipes are super simple to make and really healthy too. Take this combo.
Chicken and lemons is a match made in heaven. And when you throw in artichokes, it's just over the top. I'm going to take those three ingredients down a Middle Eastern route and show you how to make quick lemon pickles, because this is where all the flavor is.
I want to create a place that people come and feel warm and nurtured. Balabusta is like you're eating in your kitchen at home.
Einat Admony is a fascinating chef who has transformed the food of her Israeli homeland into some wildly popular New York City restaurants.
The idea that you can take totally different ingredients, put them together and make something that is delicious and make you feel so happy.
Einat will join us in my kitchen today to make Sinaya.
Basically a Palestinian dish. The way I describe it usually is like Middle Eastern shepherd pie.
Brilliant, brilliant, I like that.
We're feasting Middle Eastern today on Sara's Weeknight Meals.
You like that so good.
Chicken and lemons is a match made in heaven. And when you throw in artichokes, it's just over the top. I'm going to take those three ingredients down a Middle Eastern route and show you how to make quick lemon pickles. I've got some chicken thighs here that I'm browning. I patted them dry, 8 chicken thighs. I'm browning them skin side down. I salted and peppered the skin side, and I'm just letting them finish up. I already did half because we don't want to crowd the pan because we like that nice color. And while they're finishing browning, just going to turn them down a tiny bit, I'm going to talk about the lemon pickles. So you pick up the lemon and you squeeze it, and you see that I'm not getting any kind of give. What that means is there's a lot of white pith right under the lemon. We don't want that white part of the lemon, or not a lot of it anyway, because it's very bitter. So instead, you want a lemon like this one. You'll see how much give there is, because that means there's less of that white stuff. So it'll be less bitter when we make our pickle. For this recipe, we're going to need 2½ lemons. I know that seems odd, but I'm sure you can find a use for the other half. And we're going to slice them 1/4 inch thick. And this is sort of important because we're just going to cure them for a couple of days, so we need the salt to penetrate. I'm going to put 1 layer of lemons in here. Try to spread them out so they're not overlapping too much. We need 3 tablespoons of kosher salt, and then I'm going to sprinkle half the salt on top evenly. And this is going to get rinsed off later. Okay, so that's about 1.5 tablespoons, and then we're going to put another layer on top and sprinkle the rest of the salt. And then we cover these with a plastic wrap, and we leave them at room temperature for about, well, anywhere from 12 to 48 hours. You know, 48 hours, they're going to be more deeply pickled, they're going to be much softer, and if you take them out at 12 hours, they'll be a little crunchier. All right, I'm going to take these over and cover them up, but just before I do that, I know my chicken's ready, so I'm just going to take it out, turn off the pan, and save some of the fat. We're looking for some nice color. See, we've got nice color there, because this is where all the flavor is, and we've got some wonderful brown bits in the bottom of the pan that will add to the sauce. This is a fun dish. It all gets baked in this pan, so it's like no muss, no fuss, too. Let me just put a little plastic wrap on these. Now, this is more than you need for this recipe. We're only going to use half of the lemons. They keep for about 2 weeks in the fridge, refrigerated after you're done with them. And you can use them in all sorts of preparations. So here I have a half batch that I made that's been curing for a couple of days. And I just want to show you the difference in color. This one is a little more vibrant and yellow, just looks like a sliced lemon. And this one here is a little duller in color and looks a little more translucent. It's more tender, it's been pickled. And I have to rinse these guys now, so let me cover this up and park it, and it'll stay here for a few days. And now I'm going to rinse these to get rid of the excess salt and then pat them dry, remove any seeds. I want to make sure these are dry on both sides because we're going to brown them. Good. These are now ready to go. Okay, it's the artichoke moment. I'm using canned artichokes. You could also use frozen artichokes. Actually, if I had my choice between canned or frozen, I'd pick canned. They tend to have more flavor and be less watery, even though they're packed in sort of a watery liquid. You're horrified? Oh my goodness, you're not using fresh artichokes? Remember, this is a weeknight meal. I don't think anybody's going to take the time to prep fresh artichokes hearts. If you want to, go ahead. This is just one 13 to 14 ounce can. We're just draining of the liquid because water is very important to get rid of when you want to get color and flavor. So we're going to pat these guys dry, then they're going to get wonderfully brown. So remember, we saved a couple tablespoons of fat. We started with olive oil, tablespoon, to brown the chicken, and then we had 2 tablespoons of chicken fat and olive oil mixed when we were done, and we're going to brown the artichokes in there. So this will just take a few minutes to brown. You have to be patient. Like anything else when you're browning, don't move it until it slides a little bit, which means that it's already developed a crust. I taught my daughter how to do this. My daughter, believe it or not, doesn't cook. She loves to eat. That's all I care about. She makes a mean salad and a beautiful vinaigrette. But I taught her how to brown artichokes, and she now makes a wonderful pasta dish. And she always starts this way, and it's her one dish, but she wows people with it. I think these guys are about ready to turn. Yep. Now, isn't it wild that these were so, these are watery, so you wouldn't think they'd get this kind of color. But they do because we patted them dry, we used the right amount of oil, and we took the time to let them get that nice color. They only need about another minute on the other side. While he's finished browning, I'm gonna go get the wine, which is our liquid in here. I'm using a nice dry white, a Sauvignon Blanc. You could use a Pinot Grigio, any dry white you like. This is not a sweet dish. So we need about 1/3 cup. You could eyeball it or measure it. And I think those are looking very good. Okay, so first we're going to put in our wine, and it's going to spatter up. We're going to stir it. The artichokes are going to fall apart a little bit, but it doesn't matter. They're still going to be yummy. And now I'm going to put all the chicken back in. And it's going to be a little crowded, but it doesn't matter because we already browned the chicken. Now, see all those juices right there? Those have flavor, so those go in too. And finally, I'm going to tuck the lemons in between the chicken thighs. They will flavor the whole dish, give off more juice, add some salt. Okay. And now the whole thing goes in the oven at 350 for, I'm going to say 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how big the thighs are. These guys are sort of big, but we're going to check them and see. They should be very firm. Ooh, that smells good. Now, one thing I'm going to do is just make sure. Yeah, I can see that that's very firm. That's my indication that it's done. So we're going to transfer this over here. And what's great about this dish, besides everything else that's great about this dish, is it creates its own sauce while it cooks. So the chicken juices and the lemon juices and the wine and the artichokes all sort of mingle and create something very tasty. Now these lemons are completely edible because they've gotten very tender in the oven and also from pickling. And then I'm just going to pour all these juices over the top with the artichokes. I want to point out there's only 5 ingredients in this dish if you don't count the salt and the garnish I'm just about to put on, which is cilantro. You could finish this with dill or with parsley. There we go. A perfect weeknight meal. My chicken thighs with pickled lemons and artichoke hearts. Einat Admony is a fascinating chef who has transformed the food of her Israeli homeland into some wildly popular New York City restaurants. We caught up with her recently buzzing around on her pink Vespa.
So Balabusta means a perfect housewife, the woman that brings everybody together. I named my restaurant Balabusta because I want to create a place that people come and feel warm and nurtured. Balabusta is like you're eating in your kitchen at home, even to the way that we serve people. Balabusta is like Mediterranean, it's very straightforward, it's simple. I don't know, I want real food. That's how I believe. I want real food. Food that is delicious, simple, friendly, bold, and just great. So I grew up in a town called Bnei Brak, is 5 minutes out of Tel Aviv. My mom is Iranian, my dad Yemenite, and basically it's all about food. I grew up with an Orthodox, kind of Orthodox Jewish family that everything was around the Shabbat dinner. So I grew up with like helping and I used to love it. I always loved to cook. So since I remember myself, I always cooked. I joined the Israeli military when I was 18. It's mandatory. I was a driver, but then very fast they made me a cook of the unit. I was in the Air Force, but everywhere all my life, I knew that the only things I can do forever and never get tired of will be cooking. I went to culinary school in Israel. I moved to New York and I worked my way through a great kitchen in New York. My husband, Stefani, used to work at Boulay and I worked at Danube, and I met him there. I had in my head already that I want to do a falafel that is a little bit higher in quality, Israeli or Tel Aviv street food. So my husband and myself, like, we saw this opportunity. It was a great, cute location in the West Village. And then we opened Taim, which means delicious in Hebrew. The best things about food for me, I don't know, that it's really comforting. I remember my biggest excitement in life was regarding food. But I remember I got like almost cry, like I can get cry from something very new and very unique. I don't know, the idea that you can take totally different ingredients, put them together and make something that is delicious and make you feel so happy, just great.
Eastern food is on the menu today, and I have the absolute right guest for this subject because she spent so much time in that part of the world. And not only that, somewhere in there she figured out the time to write a cookbook on top of opening 4 restaurants. I'm here with Einat Admony, and there's 2 of them now.
Yes.
And Balabusta. And now...
And we have as well a Taim Mobile, so we have a food truck.
Oh, goodness.
And last year we opened a modern Israeli cuisine restaurant in the West Village called Bar Bolonat.
Well, all right, let's get started,
Yes.
and we'll talk more about your restaurant. So I'm going to mince some garlic, and you're going to slice the eggplant. And as we do that, tell me, what are we making today?
So today we make Sinaya. Sinaya, it's basically a Palestinian dish. And the way I describe it usually is like a Middle Eastern shepherd pie.
Oh, shepherd's pie. My mom used to make it. So so that means there's a meat base, and then there's something on top.
So usually it's layered by fresh tomato, fried or roast eggplant. Today we're going to do We're just going to bake the eggplant. And then there is a mixture of meat that you cooked with a lot of onion.
And what goes
And
on top
spices.
in place of the potatoes?
Tahini.
Ah, brilliant. I like that.
A little bit thicker than the regular tahini, so it can caramelize nice.
Well, all right, let me just ask you a few questions about eggplant, because I know eggplant's key to many cuisines, but also to Middle Eastern cuisine, Mediterranean
yes.
cuisine. And your food is really a mix of Middle Eastern and Mediterranean. It's not just Middle Eastern. So when you go to pick an eggplant, first of all, you don't mind the big guys. They're fine.
They're great. And it needs to be light, and I want it a little bit darker as possible. Try not to have too many bruises.
All right. So now you just salted the eggplant.
Yes,
Why did you
both
salt it?
sides very lightly. It's going to get, you see, it's already started. Basically, salt's getting out of moisture of everything, and it starts like sweating and get a bitterness out.
It takes about an hour, right?
Yes.
We already salted some, so do you want to just go grab it back
course.
there? And we're going to see how different it looks. It sort of gets a little floppy, right?
Yes.
A little soft because all that salt. Because now I preset the oven to 375, and these go in, the eggplant, to brown in the oven, as you said.
We're going to put around 2 tablespoons of olive oil.
Oh, yeah, here you go. Now, is olive oil a very important ingredient in your cooking?
Yes.
I love eggplant. It's so meaty. Now, were you just naturally a good cook?
I cook since I'm probably 5 years old.
Your mom was a good cook?
Yes.
Okay.
My mom, my aunt. In our family, it's all about food.
So that's how you got started. I'll open the oven, we can put it in. So it's 375 for about 45 minutes. Or as short people, we have to be careful with this oven.
I'm not short. Oh, I am.
You didn't notice. Okay, I'm going to start the tahini sauce. So we need about a teaspoon of garlic minced. Okay, so this goes in. 3/4 of a cup of tahini, which is sesame seed paste.
We have 1/3 cup of fresh squeezed lemon juice.
Yes.
We need cold water for tahini.
Oh, cold,
So
okay.
sometimes I even made like ice water because the tahini consistent change really fast. And if you're going to put it in a fridge after, it's going to get really, really thick. So you want to see what is the consistent going to be from the beginning. Salt, around 1/2 tablespoon, and a little bit black pepper.
Oh, you got some pepper. Okay. And I'm going to get the heat on under this. Wow.
This
Okay.
is nice.
So we need a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, I believe, for the meat sauce. So now I'm getting the onions in.
All right, that's ready.
1 onion chopped. We're just getting these onions softened, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then once these get softened, we'll add the garlic.
I can slice the tomato in the meantime.
Okay, you want to come down here? I just
Yes.
got started on, and I'll get the meat out. So go ahead, yes, look at us with our weapons. Let me get my big weapon out of your way. So. Should I add the garlic?
Yes.
Okay, good. 5 cloves of garlic minced. Okay, so I'm going to add a tablespoon of tomato paste. Good. So you're going to add spices to this now.
Yes. So we're going to have a 2 teaspoons of paprika. We have cumin. That we make a joke in the kitchen that it's made everything Middle Eastern.
Makes everything
If we
Middle
do
Eastern.
something that is a little bit more third to Asian style, we said, oh, let's put some cumin, it will be fine. And I have baharat. Baharat, basically, it's a
Let me just say it slowly for people. Baharat. B-A-H-A-R-A-T. Okay.
And baharat, basically, it's a mixture of spices. And there is few different kind. Some of them have a little bit more cinnamon. Some of them have a little bit less cinnamon.
And you have your own spice blend of baharat, right? Of course. You know what reminds me of a little bit? You know how in India they have their garam masalas? You know, and it's sort of unique to each household. It's a spice mix with a lot of these same warming spices that you're using.
There's cinnamon and clove here and black pepper. And
Okay, good. So that goes in next, or the meat? That goes in. Okay, I will stir. And what we've got here, we've got half lamb and half ground beef. And how come we're not doing all lamb?
because it tend to get really dry. And also it get really strong and smell.
It could be a little gamey.
Yeah, so.
Oh boy, this smells so good. You have to cook your spices, right? Because otherwise they just won't go anywhere.
The best is actually to do fresh spices and then grind them, but it's like...
That's a lot of work
I
and
know,
for the home
exactly.
cook. Can I put this
Yes.
in? Okay, you want to put one in and I'll put in
Yes.
the other? Okay. Oh, you're just... I'm like worrying about how to do it. There we go.
Then we break it down slowly.
All right, so this now goes for about 20 minutes, and then I think we'll go to pick some parsley. And we'll get some lettuce, because you said what's nice to have with this.
Just to balance it out with something fresh and green.
All right, I think that looks good.
Yeah.
We'll come back.
All right.
All right. All right, come see my garden. Isn't this lovely looking lettuce?
Beautiful.
Yeah. We'll just make a lovely little salad with it. And then we got to get our parsley over here.
Yeah.
Let me just do this in one bunch. All right.
Nice.
Okay. All right, let's head back. Isn't this beautiful, my lettuce? I'm so excited, and my parsley. And I gave it a nice little hose, you saw, with the water out there, so it's all clean.
All right.
Okay. Oh, wow. Look at that. Looks pretty good.
Yes, and smells great.
Okay.
And we're going to put pine nuts.
I'll chop this
I'm
up.
going to take the eggplant out.
And then we'll start layering.
Yes.
We got you to, as far as your first restaurant, the falafel place. And then you opened up Balabusta. Now tell us about
Yes.
that.
2010, I opened Balabusta.
Let's just pause. How do we know it's done?
It's going to continue cooking. We can...
It's pliable.
This is nice. The bottom layers, it's crispy and brown. This is what you want to get.
Okay.
So now I'm going to layer the tomato on top of the eggplant. So here we put a little bit salt, and we're going to have a little
So
bit.
I noticed that you season every step of the way.
Yeah.
And so I'll save a little bit of this parsley for garnish, but the rest goes in?
Yes.
Okay, good. And then we'll put the meat sauce in. Maybe we do this together. I'll hold it and you'll tumble it out.
All right, great.
All right, good. Boy, this really, I love lamb too. I could have done all lamb, but I understand what you're saying.
You can do, and then you need a lot of lamb fat, so to add inside.
Yeah. Finally, let me get us an offset spatula. So here comes the tahini sauce. This is like shepherd's pie, but the tahini sauce is standing in for the potatoes, but doing a great job of standing in for potatoes. I love that tahini sauce.
Okay.
Okay, good. Then, we need to get this in the oven, right? Because it needs another 20 minutes, and I'm getting hungry. So if you wouldn't mind opening the top, I'll pop this in. And this just is really heating through and finishing a little bit. Okay. And I know you brought some family photos to show me. I want to see your kidlets. So let's go. Wow, so those are your little guys. Now, what are their names?
So Liam, my boy, is 9 years old. And
Liam, I love that, okay.
I always said from Israeli and French come Irish. So Liam, and then we have Mika, she's 6.
Oh, little cutie. That's you and the husband?
Yeah. He's my partner. He's the reason that all the great things happened the last 10 years.
That's so great. Oh, and that's your restaurant?
Yeah.
And whose motorcycle's that?
Mine?
You have a pink motorcycle? And that's you too?
Yeah.
You look very tough there. You know what? We should probably go check on everything inside, don't you think? Yeah. All right, let's go. Wow. This smells and looks so good. Oh, it gets a nice brown color on top. Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. Yay. This is what I wanted you to
like
make
cheese.
for me. Yes, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Get this out of here.
Wow.
Just beautiful. Oh boy. Oh my God. Woof. That is a happy, happy thing. Okay.
All right. I would like to garnish that with some roasted pine nuts and parsley.
I like that there's all sorts of different flavors and textures in here. All right. Okay. Chow down. taste this. Wow. But
smells good.
Tell me very quickly about Bar Polonat, which is your latest.
So, Bar Polonat, we opened it last year, and it's a modern Israeli cuisine.
You guys, that is so good. Oh my God.
So it's modern Israeli cuisine. The idea is to basically showcase really what we have there, and it's combination of multicultural ethnicities in a more sophisticated way.
Lovely. Thank you so much for making this wonderful homey dish. I think it'd be great on a Sunday night or for entertaining, just fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you all for joining us on Sarah's Weeknight Meals. I'm here with Einat Admony. I'll see you next time.
For recipes and videos, go to our website, sarahmoulton.com. Sarah's Weeknight Meals is made possible by USA Rice, Sunsweet, Hodgson Mill, and the generous support of
Cooking is the first kind of love you know. It was starting when I was a child, with my grandmother doing fresh pasta, and now I transmit it to all the guests. It's something made specially for them.
Oceana Cruises, proud sponsor of Sarah's Weeknight Meals.